Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinwendu. If you are coming here for the very first time, if you are a returning viewer, you are welcome. Thank you guys for all of your support. Today's tutorial, you are going to be learning how to make a mermaid skirt, and it's going to be very simple and detailed. Okay, so if this is what you like to learn, please stay tuned until the end of this tutorial. I'm going to be making use of this lace for this tutorial, and this lace is brought to you by MYD Fabric Limited. Okay, they are fabric production company, and they are actually based in the production of lace fabric, all kinds of lace ranging from cord lace, your metallic lace, your sequin lace, mesh lace, and your lace trimmings. You are going to be getting it from them. Okay, and the fact that this lace is actually very breathable and the shear property is top notch, that is what I actually love about it. And this lace is very colorful. You can see, so beautiful, and it's also a see-through one. Okay, so you guys, I'll be leaving a link to their website in my description box, so you go check them out and make sure you order from them. Okay, and don't forget that they ship at a cheaper rate. Okay, so you guys, let's just dive right into this tutorial. We are going to have to start by marking out the starting line, and this starting line is going to be serving as your waist point. Okay, remember that if you want to cut out a skirt, you need a line, because you also need half an inch upwards to connect to your upper bodies, in case you are making it a gown or in case you are actually drafting out a skirt. So but this is going to be the down part of a gown, because I'm actually going to make it a gown. All right, if this was to be a skirt, that means you're going to minus your band from the waist before you actually get your hip measurement. But because this is going to be a gown, I actually took this down straight to 9 inches, which is going to serve as my hip line. Okay, now from there, take down from the waistline again to your knee point. Okay, and my knee point right here is 18 inches. This is actually because I want my knee point to be 2 inches away from the actual knee length. Okay, actual knee length could be 19 inches or 20 inches. Some people actually make use of 17 inches also, but for this one I'm making use of 18 inches because I want it 2 inches away from the knee point, so that I will have that curvy effect on my knee length, and then take it down to the length of your skirt. So I'm making use of 45 inches for my length. From there, go ahead and square out all your lines. Okay, so I have the waistline, the hip line, the knee line, and then the length of the skirt. Okay, so I'm going to have to start inputting the horizontal measurement. So whatever you have on your waist, go ahead and divide it by 4 and then input that. Go over to the waist again and repeat the same thing. So whatever you have as your hip circumference, divide it by 4 again and then input what you have. And coming down to the knee, you have to minus 6 inches from your actual hip circumference and then input that. Now going down to the length of the skirt, because this is a mermaid skirt, you have to use whatever you have on your knee. For me, I have 9.5 inches, so I went ahead to then add 7 to 6 inches. You can as well add up to 10 inches. It depends on how flowy you want your mermaid skirt. Okay, it all depends on your preference. Now from the knee point, I'm going to connect to the length of my skirt. Okay, and once you connect that, ensure that you curve your lines properly well, because you don't want a sharp line. You want your skirt to be very curvy. So from that knee line, we are going to have to connect to your hip and up to the waistline, as you can see me doing like this. Okay, so once you are done connecting your line, we are going to have to insert our seam allowance. Okay, so but before that, I'm going to have to come up from the hem. All right, this is where I'm actually pointing. I'm going to have to come up by 3 inches because I don't want this my skirt down to be pointy. I don't want it in form of a straight skirt, like the sides to be very straight. I want it like curvy at the down part, and that would give it a good look. Okay, but if you actually want yours to be pointed, just leave it that way. Okay, so I went up by 3 inches and I connected to the hemline. Okay, so now from there, remember that this going up is actually from the side. All right, so from there I went ahead to input my seam allowance and I made use of 2 inches. It all depends on you. Some people actually don't like seam allowance on their dresses, so you know what to do. Whatever your desired seam allowance you want to use, make use of that. And then this seam allowance, you're going to take it down to the length of the skirt. Okay, so once you are done with that, go ahead and connect all your lines, as you can see me doing like this. Connect your lines properly well and make sure that that hip part you curve it very well, because like I told you before, you don't want any sharp curve. Okay, so that's why you make sure that you connect this properly well. Okay, and once you are done with that, you're going to have to go down at the down part of the skirt, that is the hem, and then extend your tape downward by 2 inches, and that would serve as our hemming allowance for this lace. Okay, all right, but if your lace has like an edge, that is lace edge, you're going to have to leave it that way. Okay, but this one doesn't really come with lace edge. Okay, this one you can see is a two lace. All right, so I'm going to be hemming the down part. Now once you are done, you are going to have to cut this out, and while you cut out, remember to leave half an inch at the upper part, and that would be what you are going to be using to join to the upper bodies in case you are drafting out a gown. But in case you are drafting out a skirt, that means you are going to use that to join your bands to your skirt. All right, so go ahead and cut this out, and once you are done with it, we move over to the back part. Okay, so now this is what we have as the front. You're going to go ahead and draft out the back part now. Okay, now you are going to place your lace again, and then you are going to have to use this one to cut out the back. Guys, remember that if you want to know the amount of fabric you are going to fold, you are going to be using the biggest part of your measurement. Okay, and for your skirt, the biggest part of your measurement is actually your hip measurement. Okay, so what we are going to do right here, you can see I left about 10 inches away before I place the front part. Okay, right here I left 7 inches away. This is because I actually want to add up a tail to my mermaid skirt. Okay, but if you don't want a tail, you can actually leave it like this, because some people do not like their skirts touching the floor. Okay, so now I like I left at the side before placing my front body, you are going to leave the same quantity, the same amount of inches downward again. But for this one, my fabric wasn't enough, that's why I left only 5 inches at the down part, okay, and by the side I left 7 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark out my zipper allowance, and that is what you can see me doing from the waist point all the way to the down part. And this is going to be a guide for me to add up my zipper allowance, that is the 2 inches that I'm trying to mark out. Okay, so once you are done with that, go ahead and connect your hip line. Okay, so you are going to trace out your hip line, your knee line, and then once you are done with that, go on and start marking out your zipper allowance. Remember that the 2 inches that you can see me trying to connect right now is a guide to mark out my zipper allowance. Okay, so once you are done with that, you're going to have to start inputting your zipper allowance, and for me, I'm going to be making use of 1 inch. So that is what you can see me marking out right there. So at the waist point, I'm going to use 1 inch. Coming to the hip point, I'm going to be making use of 2 inches. Why? Because I want a sitting allowance at the butt part. Okay, all right, I want to add a butt to my mermaid dress so that it would enable me sit properly. So that's why I made use of 2 inches. And going back to the knee length, I used 1 inch as well. Okay, so now from your knee length, you're going to have to connect down to the length of the back skirt. Okay, so once you are done with that, go ahead and connect your lines properly well. I always emphasize on this, don't make your cup very sharp. Okay, so ensure that you connect all this properly well. And once you are done with that, we are going to have to connect all the way, like you can see me doing like this. Okay, remember the front part is shorter than the longer than the back one, so you are going to have to connect from the hem of the front one to the hem of the back fabric. Okay, so once you are done with that, you are going to cut it out. Okay, and this is to give this skirt a tail. You can see me cutting it out, and this is what we have. Okay, so you are going to go ahead and from the waist, you are going to have to cut from the 1 inch that you marked out for the zipper allowance to the 2 inches for the butt, and then down to the 1 inch for the knee. Okay, and then now cut straight to the back tail that you added right there. Okay, so you guys, my explanation sure did justice to this cutting of mermaid dress. All right, even if you can't see my chalkings properly well, at least you can actually see what I'm doing right there on the screen. Okay, and once you are done with that, don't forget to notch your zipper allowance, you guys. So we are going to have to cut this out, and you see what this mermaid dress looks like. Guys, it's actually very simple. Now I'm trying to cut out the side, the shape of the side. Okay, as you can see me doing like this. And you guys, this is all we have for a mermaid skirt. It's actually very simple. Once you are done with that, go ahead and cut out your lining, and then we are done with cutting of mermaid skirt. It's actually very simple and very easy. So if this tutorial was helpful, please do make sure to give this video a thumbs up. All right, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.